We're here with another SAC Digital Media Day head coaching interview with Jerricho Cotchery, head coach at Limestone, ready to talk some Saints football this morning. Coach, thanks for taking some time.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's jump right into it, man. You're entering your first year. What can you expect? What can fans expect from Limestone this season?
Well, what I anticipate for us is just put in the work, the necessary work that will be reflective of growth, will produce growth. Um, the guys are excited about the year that's ahead of us. Got a lot of returning guys and a lot of guys coming into the fold because they're excited about our program. And there's a lot of work ahead of us, but just looking for growth in this year. We're coming off back-to-back years of making it to the playoffs, and so we're just looking for guys to take the next step.
Yeah, you just mentioned it. That was my next question. Only school in the league to go to the back-to-back playoff appearances. What kind of helped build that foundation for you?
Well, really the buy-in from the players from the first day we stepped foot on campus in 2022. Those guys bought in right away. They were hungry to win games. They were coming off, an 0-9 season, and really with the shortened season and the COVID year, you factor in that as two losing seasons in a row, winless seasons in a row, and those guys were just eager to get it turned around. And we have a few of those guys still here on our roster, and they've been a big part of that turnaround. And the guys that have watched us from afar, competed against us in some ways, have come to join us now, and they have that same hunger as well. And so I think really it's just a buy-in, and they've continued to buy in, and that's the culture now. And so when guys come in, they're welcomed with open arms, and they're just excited, to continue the journey.
Yeah, you're a wide receiver coach, played wide receiver yourself, but we got to look at, you can't be a great wide receiver without having the quarterback. And you guys got the quarterback right there. And Dustin Noller led the league in passing yards each of the last 2 years through 31 touchdowns last year, which led the league. Back again, what does it mean to have that kind of stability and that kind of talent at the quarterback position?
Well, you want to have that position solidified, and like I mentioned earlier, he's one of those guys that is at the foundation of this turnaround. He's one of those guys that have been eager to win, eager to solidify this culture that we have already in place. He's a big part of that, and he established himself right away when we got on campus as someone that was going to be around, and someone that was going to compete day in and day out. And a lot of guys feed off of that. All of the guys feed off of that, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And so we're thrilled to have him back. This will be his third year in our system, which is unheard of in college football nowadays. But we're extremely excited about his continued growth, and not just settling for being really good these past 2 years. Man, he's continued to work at it, and we are excited to see what he puts on tape this year.
You had some of the most talent, probably had the most talented offense in the SAC last year, and maybe in the region. You lose a couple of those key pieces with Trey Stewart and Jelani Baker, but I'm sure you got a handful of others ready.
Yeah, that's our plan and how we built it. There are guys who have been waiting for their opportunities. Really talented guys that were behind those guys. Well, those are big pieces. You're talking about, a guy that was a Harlan Hill finalist at the running back position a couple years ago, losing him, and the type of player, not only the type of player he was, the type of person that he is. Just a guy that went about his work, that cared a lot about the team. So that's a loss there. But we have someone behind them and other guys that have been waiting for their turn, to step in and be good, big contributors for us on offense. And same thing at the wideout position. We have a lot of guys that got significant playing time last year with the way that we rotated our receivers, and those guys have been, chomping at the bit here, as far as growth is concerned, and really for their opportunity as well. So, yeah, I'm still thrilled about what we have to offer on offense.
On the defensive side of the ball, you looks like you're led by a couple of preseason all-conference selections in Ty Cade and Jeremiah Lomax. I guess talk a little bit about those guys and any other pieces on the defensive side.
Well, starting with Jeremiah Lomax, I mean he's going to be a 3-year starter for us. He started as a true freshman. He is that leader on defense. A lot of guys, when he speaks, he doesn't say a lot of words, and certainly when he speaks, guys listen and they get in order if they're not in order. And so he's been a big factor of what we do, a big factor of our program altogether. Means a lot to us as a staff to have a player of his caliber on our defense that's truly bought into everything that we do. And I'm looking forward to watching him take the next step as well. Ty K started as a true freshman for us, and I mean he's as talented as ever. And we're just looking for him, just like all of the guys, to take that next step as well, as far as leadership is concerned, and and just continue his playmaking ability.
This is always a fascinating question for me, but you're going in, you're going to be picked third in the preseason coaches poll, just behind, standouts LR and Wingate, right? Exactly where you want to be grouped with. But how is the mentality to go from the team that maybe towards the bottom of the standings to now all of a sudden you're the back-to-back playoff appearances, you're top 3 in the preseason poll, and now you kind of got a target on the back a little bit.
Yeah, well, we consider ourselves the hunting group. To be honest, we don't rest on our past successes. I mean, we don't dwell on those. I mean, those are just steps in the process. Those were 2 really good years for us as a program. We're excited about that. We acknowledge that every day, but still wasn't good enough. And so we're working extremely hard to just continue to grow as a group, and not just settle for, yes, we competed for SAC, the SAC championship or the division and all of that stuff. We contended. We were contenders in that sense. But at the same time, we didn't win it. In the SAC championship game, we didn't get to that. And then we were a first round out in the playoffs, and so we consider ourselves the group that's doing the hunting, and not anyone that's looking at us at the top or anything like that, with a target on our backs. We're working, and we're trying to grow as a team as well.
Football down south is something different. It's a different, right? You played at NC State, you played for the Panthers, you're now at Limestone. Football down south just means a little bit more. This is year 11 for Limestone football. How have you kind of built that foundation and that tradition there?
Well, we're in Gaffney, and there are a bunch of winners in Gaffney, and so we are excited about just the past 2 years being able to contribute to that. They see a winner, but we want to continue to grow in that respect. But football in the South, man, it's a lot of fun now. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and so I know a lot about that, and have been in the Carolinas for a long time now. And our guys, some of the guys that come from different regions, maybe up north, and they get a taste of it. They see it's a little different down here, but a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. It creates a great environment for us on game days, especially here in Gaffney, and just playing in the South altogether. Just that competitive environment is exciting to be a part of.
And I mean, what first year head coach doesn't want to start with 3 road games on their schedule, right? So you lined that up perfectly. And so heading up to West Virginia to start the first of 3 on the road against West Liberty. And then you got West Alabama. So some interesting road non-conference games. And then you start on the road in conference play. What kind of challenges that can be for a new group with you at the helm?
Yeah, not ideal. Yeah, I was certainly trying to get us some home games there. To play in front of our crowd, and to get our guys in front of the fans in the school, and everything else. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge for us getting that game, and our conference altogether. Had challenges of getting people to play us, and so. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we did get a game on the schedule, but we got to travel pretty far to play it. But at the same time, man, it's football. We get an opportunity to line up and compete. And then also it's an unfamiliar opponent, and if you are a contending team, that's what you're going to have to do is play unfamiliar opponents. And so, we'll be ready to roll. We'll get through those challenges of travel and all of that. But at the same time, our guys are excited about playing football. Our coaches are excited about coaching football, and the university altogether is excited about watching us this year.
Yeah, that's kind of been a common theme with a lot of these interviews. The scheduling is just not one of the enjoyable parts of that role. But for you personally, when you run out on that field of West Liberty, you've obviously played in some big games. You've been on the staff coaching some big games. But for you to take the field for the first time as a head coach, what do you think that is going to feel like running out onto the field against West Liberty?
Yeah, I'm not sure right now. Once we get there, maybe. I'll know. Well, I know for sure I'll know better than I know now. But I'm really really excited for our group. The hunger that they have right now to get better, the hunger that they have right now to go and line up. It's a long bus ride back from our first round playoff exit last year, and so the guys have had that experience on their mind the entire off season, and they're ready to work. But once I tell the guys, man, once as a player, you run out of the tunnel and you run onto the field. But as a coach, you run out of the tunnel and you stop at that line, and the players keep going. And, so at the end of the day, it's them out there. It's about them and how they lock arms and compete against the opponent. And so once that ball is kicked off, just like every experience that I've had, nerves, all of that stuff there, they'll go away.
Well, there you go. Head coach Jerricho Cotchery. We wish you and Limestone the best of luck this season. Thank you so much for taking some time today to chat.
Man, thanks again for having me.